Well, it's time for a review of stories making the headlines in the papers. With me in the studio for that are two gentlemen, lawyer and public affairs analyst, Okenna Nebedum, and another public affairs analyst, Ambrose Iboke. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
For staying with us. Let's head straight to the papers now. I'll start with the Daily Trust. CBN bans forex sale to textile importers. How new policy can succeed by expert dealers. And then we go to the New Telegraph. APC to Nigerians, we won't give excuses again. Obasanjo, I won't stop criticizing Buhari. Daily Sun, no card readers, no results. INEC says manual accreditation for Guba State Assembly polls unacceptable. And the last paper here, we have The Nation. It says APC, PDP set for legal battle. Atiku, PDP seek access to election materials. Will prove our candidates won, says APC. Secondus orders a march to INEC to reverse a verdict. But one of the story here, gentlemen, that might get your attention is ballot box snatchers. Others will be dealt with ruthlessly. That's the Acting Inspector General of Police speaking there, and they're saying they're deploying more men to violence-prone states. Ambrose?
Well, we heard this language prior to the presidential election. Our ballot boxes were still snatched, and the police was nowhere to be found.
But the incidences were not...
Yeah, but there are flashbacks. I keep saying that. Please, there are conflict-mapped areas and there are violent-prone areas. The Nigerian police and security apparatus should be more preventive. They should be more proactive
when
than
you say
reactive.
More proactive than reactive,
yeah,
what do you expect them to do?
What we expect them to do is deploy more security to those violent-prone areas, beef up the men there, and now we are also soliciting that there shouldn't be military presence. They don't have a business with election.
Can the police handle this?
Yeah, the police can handle it together with...
Constitutionally, they are supposed to handle it.
Then there's incidents, there's a civil defense to back them up and some other paramilitary agencies to also back them up. But the military should not be there because that demeans and disrespects the institution of the military. They're supposed to fight for the territorial integrity. They're supposed to be deployed for warfare. Election is not warfare.
Definitely, it's
so military should not be involved there. So, and also this issue of VIPs. When you deploy 30 policemen for one person and then you leave other places to suffer, that should be reduced or even eradicated.
All right, let's come to you now, Okenna. He's saying that deploying more police personnel will check activities of violence. Will that really check activities of violence in those areas that are seen as flashpoints?
Yes, if they are policed, but not if they are militarized. Because Part 8 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended takes care of electoral offenses. So there's no gainsaying the fact that somebody will always come on air and dish out orders every time that this so and so people will be dealt with from time to time. We've had those threats coming from the security agencies often and all the time, even coming from INEC themselves. We had it in Osun and nobody was arrested. What Nigerians expect is that penultimate to or prior to the governorship election, let us see those who you have arrested.
So are you saying that if we see what has been done, this will serve as a deterrent to those who have intention of carrying this out?
Yes, you don't bandy words of mouth all the time. When you showcase those that have been arrested in the past presidential election, and then show that they're undergoing investigation and they're being treated according to the law, then it is enough to be a deterrent to people who are planning to engage in such crimes in the upcoming governorship election. That's enough than bandying words.
Well, the Road Safety Corps is saying that it is going to deploy about 750 personnel for the governorship election. Do we need that much number?
Well, there's not going to be traffic, so I don't know what the road safety is saying. Road safety is for the road safety, that's their basic duty. So there are restrictions, there are curfews. So I don't know what the road safety is saying about this. The police is the onus falls on the police to actually police the election.
But they need to work hand in glove to ensure that this process runs smoothly.
Well, they can beef up in terms of administrative procedures, in terms of, okay, stand in the queue well, do this, direct people very well. But when it comes to the acts of violence, the road safety is incapacitated. They are not weaponized, so they can't really do something. And then, like what Okenna said, we saw something that happened in Okota. Who was arrested? Nobody. So it's not about coming to issue threats. It's about
Is this a threat? It's just a warning.
Well, warning is a threat. When you take it,
so really,
yes.
So you are saying that,
and it could also be counterproductive because people hearing those threats may decide not to come out.
So
to
voter
vote.
apathy,
Yes.
there's a possibility for voter apathy. That's
Sure.
what you mean.
And that happened in Lagos, where out of 3 million voters that registered in the presidential election, only 1 million came out for vote.
Well, the issue of PVCs was also one of the reasons given as, because the number of those that collected their PVCs is not about the issued statements given, Ambrose.
Well, the INEC has really disappointed me. I'm not scoring them satisfactorily in the conduct of this election at all. Because the PVCs, we are past the stage. The Jaga stage gave us a lot of hope. And then we are coming, our hopes have been dashed by this Mahmoud era. What we need to do is that the TVC, as we have said, should be a continuous
process.
exercise.
All right.
People should be able to walk in and get their PVC.
Quickly head to the Nation newspaper now, where Buhari is urging traditional rulers to fight against criminality, as he believes that they play a crucial role in the prevention and detection of criminal activities in their domains.
There have been several calls. In fact, the last constitutional conference recommended rules for traditional rulers. And I strongly hope that in this second term of this regime, that beyond always inviting the royal fathers for coffee, for tea, or for banquet in the State House, let there be constitutional rule for them. Because definitely, before the white man came, Africa existed without the type of democracy that we have. So the traditional institutions represent our historical antics, and they also know the members of their community up to the grassroots level. So there should be much more than those calls should be followed with constitutional rules for the royal fathers.
But where you don't have constitutional rules, they don't have the backing constitutionally for such. So what happens beyond the courts? What
happens that they cannot go beyond just precautionary measures. They cannot go beyond advisory rules. There should be more. There should be empowered more to have some kind of level of community discipline that is acceptable under the law. But if you do that now, it is anti-law. So it actually prevents them from acting. Even in Lagos State, they have to create something like the neighborhood watch, this call, because of this kind of issues, the gap. Because the policing one police officer to a population is very low. The ratio between the police officers and the population is very low. So that gap is there, and that's why criminality always festers because of that. So we need to give them more powers. But at this stage, they still have to continue what there's advisory role, coming their community, having town hall meetings, meeting the people, meeting the politicians, their sons and daughters who are running the race, to tone down the narrative, especially when it's incisive, and then engaging religious leaders as well, and also the government, to ensure that, because when people get killed, it's their people that get killed. Therefore, they have that role also to interface between the government, the political parties, the politicians, and the people.
But shouldn't more be done beyond even the traditional rulers? Talking about religious institutes, shouldn't they be also, brought in this aspect, because they have more direct contact with the people?
Yes, very well. I remember a situation like that happened. A young man came in from the States in a particular community, and they are fond of exceeding wealth. And some of the things he came back from the States got missing. A call was put through to the vigilante head, and then they reported him to the Reverend Father in charge of the community. And in fact, it was through community effort. Before 24 hours, those items were returned.
Wow.
So it shows that the religious leaders, the traditional rulers, they know their community, they know their sons and daughters, and they know who are bad in society. That is more like making traditional what we call in English way